And after 2 minutes and 44 seconds, we have a winner here. ChatGPT o3, the first one that has figured out without any hints what the cipher is. My best guess would be Casino Point. I mean, that's just perfect. I am super impressed by this. This is pretty amazing. From a single picture for it to just be like, yep, got it. I know exactly where this was taken. And let's see, the table is bone dry. Oh, GPT o4-mini-high loses. Oh, wow. I am super impressed by this. That's very cool. It's doing better than me. I could not figure out how to play it without falling off. Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. I was planning on doing another video this evening for release tomorrow, but as predicted, OpenAI has released both ChatGPT o3 and o4-mini-high. So I'm going to go over here, o4-mini-high, ChatGPT o3. So we're going to test both of these against my suite of tests. If they both pass with flying colors, I'll come up with more advanced questions, but every one of these models I've ever tested has failed on one or another of these things. So I'm not holding out hope for all of that. We will see. People are saying, feel the AGI, all of that kind of stuff, but I haven't seen it yet. By the way, you can see heart rate monitor. Things seem to be going fairly well. I haven't had another incident and, you know, fingers crossed, everything is good. So thank you for the kind thoughts. If you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, the video's up here and I'll put it at the end of this video as well. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this. I'm going to ask a logic question. I'm going to go ahead and ask it to both of them at the same time so that while they're thinking, we're going to take a look at thinking too. So we'll see how quick GPT-4o-mini-high is in terms of its reasoning speed. That's pretty fast. 11 is the correct answer. So good. That was pretty quick. And 3 + 8 is 11. So good. They both come out of the gate strong. Next up, we're going to ask them both to recreate the Space Invaders game with Pygame. Both of them are supposed to be fantastic at coding. In fact, o4-mini-high is particularly said, you know, it states that if you go up here and you look at it, it says great at coding and visual reasoning. So we're going to take the visual reasoning test also. But first of all, we'll go ahead and do a coding challenge. I'll cut over here to o3, which is a much bigger model, of course, and fire this one up and see what we get for that. So we'll flip back to o4-mini. Oh, wow. That's very cool. Oh goodness. So I guess I can run the Python. So that will be a very, very new thing. I used to have to, copy it over to VS Code. By the way, I hear it's possible that OpenAI might buy Windsurf, so I might have to use that IDE and see how that is as well. But anyway, in the meantime, we'll see if we can run some Python. I also need to move this window over a bit here because, yeah, answered in the chat. So it obviously created multiple sort of areas. Let's see if it did the same thing. Oh, loading failed. So o3, not happy. Let's try this again. We'll fire it up. In the meantime, let's attempt to run the Python code. So I can just press run and let's see, fingers crossed that we'll actually get something here. I don't see anything yet. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to see that. Also, there is a voice interface now. Huh, interesting. Oh, run installing packages. Okay, I don't know why. It just must have not have taken it the first time. Okay, so now it says it's running code. Fingers crossed. Let's see if we actually get something to actually run. It's just sitting there. Not sure. I might have to copy this into VS Code. This would be super convenient if it works, however, but if people don't know, I actually use Replit to do my coding, and that's got Claude 3.7 Sonnet in it. And I find that to be much better because it can do multiple document coding instead of just a single, big blob like this thing. By the way, this is very, very long. 176 lines is probably the longest I've seen. I don't know what's going on. It says it's running code, but it's not actually doing anything. Maybe it can't really run Pygame or something, so I can copy it over to VS Code. We're going to try the same thing with GPT o3 and see if I can run it there. Yeah, I'm guessing it's because it's using Pygame and it just can't run that inside the web browser, or maybe, nope, it's not there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and copy this into VS Code. I'm going to chalk this up to the fact that it's trying to run Pygame and it just may not be able to do that inside of a web browser. All right, so this is o4-mini-high again. Fantastic naming job, guys. And let's see. Hello. Oh, error. White is not defined. See, I told you they never actually work. So let's go ahead and try o3 instead and see if that works better. And we'll fire it up. Oh, we actually have something. They're moving exceptionally slowly, but yeah, we have a score. Let's see. I may speed up this section. Yeah, okay. Because it's very slow and very boring, but I'm hoping I can kill all of these guys one at a time. All right. Sorry. Let's see if we have levels and we can get out of levels. I didn't specifically ask for that, but maybe we'll get lucky. Oh my gosh, it's so slow. It's tedious. But I remember the first level of Space Invaders wasn't the fastest thing in the world. Anyway, so let's see if we get a cleared level. Okay, you win. Press R to restart. So yeah, okay. So it doesn't have levels, but it clearly played perfectly adequately. So O3 gets the thumbs up. O4-mini, I'm going to paste the error in and see if we get some luck on the second go round. So in full-on vibe coding, I'm just going to say error and then colon and paste the error in and see if it can figure out what error it made and fix the problem. So it's clearly going back over the code. Answer in chat instead. So yeah, it's doing whatever it needs to do. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, I fixed the color. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy the code and try again. All right. Oh, this is at least faster. So I'll give it that. That's happier. So yeah, a little bit more of a challenge. So it made one, I mean, it was a small mistake. It looked like it just hadn't defined something. So not a real big deal. And I'm just seeing if I can get to the end of, you get to witness my incredible game playing capability. And you win. Final score 500. Oh, there is no restart. So, okay. So it's just a quit at that point. So I would say both of them are successful. o4-mini-high had a slightly better game because the enemies were coming down a little bit faster, but O3 did it on the first try without any mistakes. We might try a harder coding challenge here if they do particularly well on the rest of these questions. All right, next up, let's ask it to write a story for my grandniece, who is now 3. Hello, Sky. Not that we're going to read it, but I just want to see what they do because this is not something that's normally tested, and it's about the code that it just wrote. So it's about the Space Invaders code. So Sky and the sleepy star blocks. There we go. So once upon a twinkling night, oh, high above the starship floated rows of chattering. Okay. Yeah, this looks fairly nice. There's a weird thing where it's not scrolling right now. I'm not exactly sure why. That would be a web interface problem. So let's see. In a quiet little space far, far away, there lived a brave green block named Ship. Every night, good evening, star friends, one night. These both look perfectly fine. I would take a guess that O3 is a little bit better than o4-mini-high, just probably because it's a bigger model and a little bit better trained. I'm going to have to reload this page because I cannot scroll any further. Oh wait, now I've got scrolling back. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question now. All right, on to a question that the models really haven't gotten yet, and that is deciphering something from a single example. This is a Beaufort or Beaufort cipher. It needs to identify that, and the answer is 7 years ago. There is an audio interface here, but I have not hit the little microphone button, so it doesn't have access to what I just told you, so it doesn't know. So it's thinking, okay, Vignier, interesting. Okay, so a lot of times it was the best of times. It was a cipher. Yep. Okay. So it's actually thinking through this in a pretty interesting way. Let's go ahead and expand this out and see. Need to account for differences. Okay. So Vignier, or whatever that one is one that they tend to fall for. Let's go ahead and see what o4-mini-high is doing to decode this, which cipher method. I'm looking at letters. Okay. So let's see if we actually get an answer here. I'll hold off on this and we'll cut back to this because I have a feeling this will take a moment. All right, so just breaking in here to note that these are analyzing these little code blocks. Both of them are doing that, so it's very interesting to see that they've got little code blocks that they're utilizing for their sort of thinking. I think they might be using tools at this point, or at the least writing some sort of pseudocode or something like that. So that's really cool to see how they're thinking to themselves. Okay, so o4-mini has given up after 2.5 minutes. It just says, if you could supply the key or any hint, I can immediately reverse the Vignier shifts and give you the English. I will tell it what kind of cipher it is and we will see. So I'll tell it it's a Beaufort cipher and we will see if it's able to figure it out now. And after 2 minutes and 44 seconds, we have a winner here. ChatGPT O3, the first one that has figured out without any hints what the cipher is. 7 years ago today, that is deserving of a big thumbs up. That is fantastic. Wow, I am super impressed by that. That is one example, and it was able to figure out the ciphertext. That's really impressive. When I told it was a Beaufort cipher, it only had to think for 25 seconds before it figured out also what the answer was. So good for both of them, but a huge congrats to O3. That's a first. Alrighty, time to test images. Let's see if it can do image analysis. I will copy this into both of these guys, and I'm going to say, can you see the attached image? I'm assuming it's going to be able to since I could drag it in there. Please describe it in detail. If you can take a guess as to where the photo was taken. The photo is of me, and I am just off the shore of Catalina Island scuba diving, so we'll tell you the answer to that. I am going to try the voice input in just a second, but I want to talk to you, and I don't want to give away the answers. Anyway, let's see how long these guys have to think. So they are reasoning, but these are not fast models, but okay, the user shared a path. I think the underwater photo might have been taken in a kelp forest. That's good. I mean, it's obviously thinking the right thoughts here. So let's shift over to mini-high. And o4-mini-high only had to think for 8 seconds, and it said, almost certainly on the Pacific coast of Southern California in a macrocystis kelp forest. I assume that is the scientific name for that. My best guess would be somewhere in the Channel Islands off Catalina Island. Wow. Places like Scorpion, Anchorage, Santa Cruz Island, or the coves around Catalina are classic dive sites. This is right off of Catalina Island. Let's see, kelp forest, the fish is a blocky fish, a juvenile giant sea bass. That is exactly what it is. So that is excellent, and only 8 seconds. Let's see how O3 did. So O3 thought for 23 seconds, so a little bit longer. And let's see. Wow. All of the visual cues: giant kelp, giant sea bass, cold green seawater, scuba diver, and thick exposure gear. Point 2, Southern California. The Southern California bite. Wow, cool. We're using big words tonight. Giant sea bass are most commonly encountered at protected kelp forest reserves, such as Casino Point Marine Park. I mean, damn, that is exactly it. Or Anacapa, or the La Jolla Ecological Reserve, etc. So because the fish is comfortable around the diver, suggesting a no-take marine reserve, and because the kelp is so dense and pillar-like, my best guess would be Casino Point. I mean, that's just perfect. I am super impressed by this. This is pretty amazing. From a single picture for it to just be like, yep, got it. I know exactly where this was taken. All right, we're going to skip over the easy math questions because, they should be too easy for it. We're going to go with the insane one. The answer is actually D ±1, but I can't solve it myself, or at least I haven't solved it myself. But we're going to ask both of them and see how they do. All right, so we can see O3 thought for 12 seconds and then began writing out the answer, D ±1. Damn, that is nice. And o4-mini-high only thought for 9 seconds, and it came up with the answer of ±1 also. Wow. I mean, these things are impressive. They are really impressing me. These are questions that most of these models have not gotten up to this point, and these guys are handling it. You can see that o4-mini-high is a little bit faster, right? 9 seconds versus, 12 seconds, I think. So anyway, so you're seeing a slightly faster performance on o4-mini-high, but really impressive behavior here. All right, let's go ahead and try the dictate mode here and see how that works. And actually, it looks like we can use voice mode as well. So let's just go ahead and click voice mode entirely. Hello, hello. Okay. I guess voice mode is not active very much right now. So I'm going to return to the text-based thing because that's not the primary thing. Well, okay, we'll give up on that. We'll see. We'll try retesting at the end here. All right, next up, a knowledge of the world question. We're going to ask both of them. That's O3 and copy it into o4-mini-high. So the basic question here is 15 people fitting in a car. It has to understand, and they're driving between LA and Las Vegas. And the point of it is that it has to realize that if you have a person, you have to have one person drive the car each way in order to transport all these people. So you actually need 4 trips rather than 3 trips. That's the goal of this thing in summary here. So we're going to 80 miles an hour. Wow. 60 to 120 miles per hour. I don't know where in the United States is 120 miles per hour. That's an impressive amount of speed going on there. Okay. So, so this is thinking quite a bit. Oh, it realized I need more trips since the driver must return. So that is the key metric right there. So O3 got it. O4, you can't all pile into the Camry, so you have to do a ferry and return shuttling. That is exactly correct. 3 full round trips, you 1 final out. Damn, that is nice. Yeah. Okay. So that it got the right question, and I'm assuming that this got it as well. Done. You need to carefully plan trips since it can only hold 5. It would take about 4.5 hours without traffic. It's still reasoning, so I guess we're still thinking. Okay, so after some extensive thinking, it actually created a table, and you can see 5, and then 1 driver goes back, 5, and 1 driver goes back, 5, and 1 driver goes back, and then driver plus 2, 3 on the final outbound version. So that is the correct answer as well. It thought for 45 seconds. O4-mini-high thought for 17. So we're getting the order of magnitude is O3 thinks about twice as long as O4-mini-high. So that is about what I would guess the latency, difference between the two is. Both of them are correct. This is very impressive work so far. Next up, a knowledge of physics question that most models have gotten wrong. It's really surprising. You don't think that they would, but they have gotten it wrong so far. The basic thing is that Alice takes a glass, puts an olive in it, fills it exactly full of water, flips it over, removes a piece of cardboard, leaves it on the table. Bob then picks it up. Obviously, for us humans, what would happen is the water would spill out, the olive would fall on the table, the table would be wet, etc. But these LLMs tend to think that the olive stays inside the glass or some other random thing. So, so here we go. So the state of the table is wet. There'll be a puddle, possibly an olive resting on the table or having rolled onto the floor. That is exactly correct. Where is the olive? Okay. And did the glass need to go into the dishwasher? Probably not. Okay. So that's a perfect answer. And let's see. The table is bone dry. Oh, GPT o4-mini-high loses. Oh, so yeah. So this got trapped into that classic LLM problem. So it thought for 10 seconds, whereas o3, it's so hard to keep track of these things. They need to come up with Bob and Alice. That need to be the names. Anyway, o3 only thought for 9 seconds, and it would actually outpace o4-mini-high. So it thought for fewer seconds, and it got the answer exactly right. o4-mini-high did not. All right, let's ask a knowledge of the world question. I will summarize it here while these things are thinking. Basically, we're asking, and again, you can pause the screen and read it to your heart's content. But Alice cooks Bob some breakfast. She leaves it on a low table. My assumption is that she would imagine that Bob ate that breakfast. He doesn't. He leaves it on the table, but he cleans up Alice's dishes, and they're now in the dishwasher, and then Spot eats the food that Bob had left and breaks the plate. So the idea is, what do people know when they're at work, like later in the day, each one of them, and whether it thinks that dogs can think or not. So I like this kind of table here. This is really, really nice. So Alice thinks that the breakfast she set out is untouched and her dishes remain in the sink. I would say that this is wrong. I think most people would assume that their partner had eaten the food that they left them. So I think that that's incorrect. Again, you could make an argument. I think the dishes remaining in the sink is correct. Bob thinks the breakfast is untouched on the table. That is correct because he left it there and the dishes are in the dishwasher. Spot knows there is no food left and that the plate lies shattered on the floor. Okay, good answer. But again, I think the better answer would be that Alice thinks that Bob ate the food. And we had a glitch with o4-mini-high, so I'm going to give it another shot. I don't know what happened. It just created like a blank answer. So here we go. All right. Alice expects the food on the table and the dishes in the sink. So nope, I think that's incorrect. It's food on the table, dishes. Okay, so both of them came up with the same answer. I think that is less than perfect, but again, you could make an argument that that's reasonable. I just don't think it's as reasonable as it could be. All right, so since these both did so well, I'm going to ask it to create a 3D snake game with a switch that will allow either me or an agent that it creates, like an AI, basically. I'm not asking it to make a neural network or something, but just a simple AI agent that will be able to play the game, or I can play it myself. So we will ask o3, and we will also ask o4-mini-high because, again, coding is supposed to be one of its highlights. So we will see how things go. So incredibly, it only thought for 6 seconds. The game is 204 lines long. I think it took longer than that. Anyway, so tab toggles between AI control and manual play, arrow keys, steer on X, Y, Q up, and A down, move along Z when your manual mode, R restarts after a crash. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Let's also take a look at o4-mini-high, 167 lines of code. So let's see what we got. A 3D cube rendering on a ground plane. Okay, well, that'll be interesting. All right, so let us try both of these things. We will find out. So first I'm going to try to run it inside of the web browser, but again, I don't think it will because it's using Pygame. So yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the code and we will run it in VS Code. Alrighty, folks, here we go. Let's see if it actually works. Oh, bummer. Type error, missing one argument keys. Okay, so let's go ahead and paste that in. That's a bummer. I was really hoping it was going to do a little better than that. So this was o3, so I will paste the error in. In the meantime, we will try o4-mini-high and see how it does. And an error for that too. So both of them threw errors. That's a bummer. All right, so without the history, it seems to be thinking a little better. It also knows that my name is John. How interesting. I've heard that OpenAI has increased or improved the memory. That's a whole other topic I would be interested in talking about, but apparently you will be able to have a long-term relationship with your LLM, and I've talked about that recently, so that's actually really cool. So here's o4-mini-high. I guess it's done. Yep, looks like if name equals main. Alrighty, let's go for it. Let's take a look and see how it works. Alrighty, I had to install OpenGL here. I'm surprised I didn't have that on there, but anyway, whoa, I have no idea. I'm going up and down. I don't know if this is, whoa. I assume this is food. So, oh my gosh, it's really hard to control in a 3D environment. Oh man, bummer. This is like super, super difficult. Let me see if I can tab it. All right. Hopefully it says, I thought tab would. All right. So that was o4-mini-high. Let's take a look at O3 and see if we get something a little bit better. Ah, bummer. All right. Let's see if we can get it to play without an error. That looks good. Whoa, I have no idea. R, let's press M. I believe M. Oof, R, M. Game over, press R to restart. I don't know why I'm unable to, Yeah, it looks like it's not, there we go. I guess I have to stay in the thing. So let's see if we can, there we go. Okay, so the AI or whatever, this agent is playing it. So actually, oh, wow. So this is kind of interesting. It's like a 3D sort of cube environment, but the agent is doing really well, obviously. Hasn't died yet on itself, so wow, I am super impressed by this. That's very cool. It's clearly it's doing better than me. I could not figure out how to play it without falling off. But so what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have sort of 5 levels, and then the snake is flowing around all of those. So that is really impressive. I've got to say, I'm super impressed by that. So O3 wins again. O4-mini-high created something, but it wasn't that particularly great, and it wouldn't switch back and forth between the AI and me. But this game is working, and it hasn't lost yet. So it's got, I guess it's only getting 1 point per food item, but darn, this is impressive. I mean, that's pretty tough not to, fold in on itself. So yeah, this is amazing. So I guess while this is playing, what are my thoughts? My thoughts are both of these models are really, really impressive. I need to put them up, especially O3, it looks like, which is the smarter of the two models. I need to put that up against Gemini 2.5 and have a head-to-head comparison. I would be very interested to see which one does better, but as you can see, this is still going. It hasn't lost yet, which is way better than I as a human could do. Is this AI yet? No, they still make dumb mistakes. Is O3 the best model I have tested? Absolutely. It has passed pretty much everything. There were a couple of syntax errors and things like that with this code, but I mean, this is really impressive stuff. So anyway, I am super impressed by both of these. I hope you are too. And I guess I'll just keep letting it go here. I will go ahead and sign off. If you don't mind liking this video so other people can find it, it really makes a big difference. Honestly, it helps a lot. And while you're down there, if you want to see more of these kinds of videos and my other ramblings about AI, longevity, escape velocity, you name it, you just go ahead and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.